Yesterday was an interesting day because of what happened in Syria, and Jake Bro is pointing out how even Trump is seeing how Putin is weak given what's happened in Syria. Trump is seeing the immense weakness from Putin as Russia is not able to save Assad's regime in Syria. Remember, Putin had propped him up. Looking weak isn't going to help Putin in his future negotiations with Trump. Well, here's Trump's statement on Truth Social yesterday. Opposition fighters in Syria, in an unprecedented move, have totally taken over numerous cities in a highly coordinated offensive and are now on the outskirts of Damascus, obviously preparing to make a very big move toward taking out Assad. Russia, because they are so tied up in Ukraine, and with a loss of over 600,000 soldiers, remember that number, 600,000 instead of 753 or so, uh, 600,000 seems incapable of stopping this literal march through Syria, a country they have protected for years. This is where former President Obama refused to honor his commitment to protecting the red line in the sand, and all hell broke out with Russia stepping in. But now they are, like possibly Assad himself, being forced out, and it may actually be the best thing that could happen to them. There was never much of a benefit in Syria for Russia other than to make Obama look really stupid. In any event, Syria is a mess, but it's not our friend, and the United States should have nothing to do with it. This is not our fight. Let it play out. Do not get involved. So he's right that Syria is really not a lot of our business in the United States. Where Israel's a close ally to the United States and has been for many, many years. Now let's talk about that 600,000 figure. He estimated 600,000 lost Russians and 400,000 in another place he estimated lost Ukrainians. That's within the range of what I was talking about. And since Thanksgiving, I talked about this about 3 times. The casualty figures can't be lower than one for every 2 Russians, 1 Ukrainian for every 2 Russians. I can't see any scenario where it's lower than that. I also don't see it higher than 3 to 4. It's probably more like 2 to 3, 2 Ukrainians for every 3 Russian casualties. Now, Zelensky was saying that Ukraine has lost 43,000 soldiers during the full-scale war. Now, that's lower than what the Economist magazine says that they had tracked, which was about 60,000. And this is after Zelensky said that there are estimates of 80,000. It's far lower than that. Okay, so 43,000 and an additional 370,000 troops have been wounded. Now, that's also lower as well. Now, I'm trying to harmonize this and figure out what's real and what's, why are they saying it? It could very well be that 43,000 were killed on the battlefield. 370 was part of the wounded that translated into higher actual kill numbers from 370. Some of those that were casualties actually died, and that's why it's actually at 60,000-ish that have died so far, but not on the battlefield, just died after another 20,000 or so. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just trying to make sense of what figures we see. Russian losses, according to Zelensky, are 750,000. It's actually 753 today, including 198,000 killed, over 500 and 550,000 injured. Okay, so if you look at that, then that's going to be 43 plus 370, that's 413,000 total. And if you divide 413,000 divided by the 753 as of today, you're at 54%, right? So it's higher than 1 to 2, and it might be closer to 2 Ukrainians for every 3 Russians on the battlefield. If you're still trying to hold on to some illusion that there's going to be, 1 Ukrainian for every 5 Russians, or if you're listening to the Russian Ministry of Defense, there's 10 Ukrainians off the battlefield for every 1 valiant Russian. Neither of those scenarios are actually true. What's actually happening is about probably 2 to 3, as I said on Thanksgiving Day. All right, my friends, that's all that I have for you. Keep calm and arm Ukraine. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.